And he's here right now, and it's roles like that that put you at the top of a January poll of sexiest movie stars.
Oh, goodness. I don't even know how to respond to that.
Is it weird? Is that strange? I mean, is that sort of a strange part of your career when you do it and then suddenly you get this rush of female attention?
Certainly, yes. Because it seems so... I think, you know, a subject like sexiness is a subjective thing. I think we all know that, and it's alarming when the attention comes your way.
Well, did your sister used to have Brad Pitt posters up on her wall?
She did, yeah. Brad Pitt in Legends of the Fall.
Yeah.
Which is one of my all-time favourite guys.
But she also used to say that I had hair like a broom.
She?
Yeah, which is true.
Nice
I have hair like a broom.
Well, see, also the thing is that the girls love a bad lad as well, don't they? And maybe it's because of the Loki thing. You know, that's what it
might be when I dye my hair black and wear white makeup and leather and metal. There's a particular vibe going on there.
And you do your own stunts for that? A lot of your own stunts?
I do, yep. I enjoy that, though. That's just me being a sort of 10-year-old boy again, running around in a suit and pretending to be a superhero.
Was your the first one was in a harness, wasn't it? And you were you propelled with a stake in your arms. I think that was
yes.
a spear
when I was
Chris
shooting,
Hemsworth.
yes, when I was filming Thor, directed by Kenneth Branagh, there was a big fight sequence in a sort of a shining citadel in the sky where the Norse gods live. Of course they do. Chris Hemsworth and I were fighting, and he has the hammer and I have a spear, and I was... it's a bit like being in the circus. You get strapped into a harness which is underneath your costume, and they cut holes in the side, and they strap you into wires, and then these huge, burly kind of stuntmen on the side just swing you from the rafters, and it's like being on a ride or something.
That sounds brilliant fun.
You have to stay in character as well.
Yeah, of course, of course. And then when you missed him, and then the pole went into the ground, and you spun round the pole, and there were people saying as you went round that pole, he's done that before.
Is that true?
Yeah, it's somehow emblematic of my hidden talent at pole dancing.
Who knew?
Who knew?
Something else that's very dear to your heart is your connection with UNICEF. And this is what you've been doing at the moment. This is Live Below the Line, and this comes off the back of that it's 1 billion people within the world live below the poverty line, and they class that by anyone that lives on under £1 a day to feed themselves. And part of this campaign is that you've been living like this for the last 5 days.
This is my 5th day, yeah.
How does it go?
Well, the challenge is to subsist on £5 a day for food and drink. So obviously I'm not living in extreme poverty. I live in London. I have a nice house. I have clean running water, a roof over my head, a bed to sleep in, gas, electricity. But my food and drink has cost £1 a day. And it's really simply to raise awareness and compassion for those 1 billion children and their mothers and fathers who live for that every single day of their lives without a choice. And what's been interesting for me is really understanding that my body doesn't function that well for that much.
What have you been eating on your pound?
A bowl of rice in the evening and a baked potato for lunch, but no coffee or tea, no fruit, no sugar, no biscuits. You know, we're so used to being able to reach for something, you know, a piece of fruit or a cup of coffee in the morning. And so many people in the world don't have that. They have so much less than that. And really the challenge, the Live Below the Line challenge, which is taking place across the world from the 29th of April to the 3rd of May, is a collective stand for those people.
And you saw firsthand the work that UNICEF do by going out to Guinea and visiting families and projects that they've set up, and seeing actually malnourished children and the effect that this has on their lives, on their physicality, on their minds, in every way.
You know, it's really harrowing when you see it firsthand, and I don't think any of us, any human being, can really anticipate the reaction that you have when you actually see these children. Because in our world, we're so used to a degree of abundance. You know, if children are born in this country, they get vaccinated immediately by the National Health Service. All the standard vaccinations that all our children have, they don't exist for many West African children. And they live, the water's unpurified, there's terrible sanitation problems.
Well, you say that when they're born, they're even born at a disadvantage.
They're born at a disadvantage, they're born with less food. Some Guinean women that I spoke to didn't know that you were supposed to breastfeed for at least a year, and we're feeding their children water from the wells, which is contaminated with runoff from the land. And then, of course, they get sick, and then they get exposed to malaria, and then they're at a disadvantage from the beginning.
Has it altered your perspective about your life?
I feel enormously privileged. I mean, I already did in many respects, but it rearranges your head. It rearranges your priorities very starkly. And as soon as I came back, I had a little bit of culture shock, because I realized how many of us live in with an extraordinary degree of wealth and plenty, and that we really should count our blessings.
Yeah,
well, you're taking part, as we said. It's Live Below the Line for UNICEF, and if you want to give that a try, living for £1 a day for 5 days. It starts on the 29th of April until the 3rd of May, and we'll put the details on our website. And we can't let you go but before just pointing out that Thor, the Dark World, is due out in November, I think.
I think in October in the UK.
Is it October?
Yeah, end of October.
When it comes out, will you come back and talk to us about it?
I'd love to.
You're very excited about this one, aren't you?
I am very excited about it. It's a progression from, because people are used to Thor and Loki now, these two brothers who've been in love and war across 2 films, and there's a nice development. A lot of it's set in London, which is exciting.
Terrific. Well, come back just before it's out. Then in October. We'll see you in October. That's a booking.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Right, still.